If you don't have your finances in order, it's hard to enjoy anything in life. And sadly, many of us have so many bad money habits that we're not even aware of. They don't teach us how to manage our finances at school, and many of us don't learn that at home either. And personally, I've been around people who are broke my entire life, and I think a lot of it is not because they are poor, but because they have bad money habits and they're not able to manage their finances. So in this video, I'm going to share with you 9 money habits that you have that are keeping you poor and financially stuck in life. I'm going to share with you what I wish that I learned earlier in life so that I could have avoided so many mistakes and started spending and earning better earlier in life. And out of these 9 habits, I've divided them into mindset habits and concrete action habits to make it easier for you to follow along. And if you want to take control of your finances and transform your money habits, then you need both of them. So stick until the end so that you understand and get the full picture. And if you're new here, my name is Sushila. I make videos on self-development, productivity, time management, how to feel better, growth mindset. So if these topics interest you, do subscribe to the channel. So number 1 is having a negative or limiting belief about money. So this is something that I myself didn't realize until very recently. So many of us who grew up poor or not financially well off might have heard the saying that money doesn't grow on trees and that rich people are greedy, money is off limits to us normal people, and that you have to struggle really hard to get it. We might even have grown up secretly despising people with a lot of money. We also might have some limiting beliefs that we don't deserve to become wealthy, we don't deserve to earn well. We might have a limiting belief that we're always going to be broke, and we might continuously repeat that we are broke to us and to others, and we don't believe that it's actually possible for us to improve our financial situation. Or we might believe that people with our background can't succeed. So if you have these kind of beliefs, how do you think that you're going to attract money? How do you think you're going to succeed and have more money if your relationship with money is so negative and limited? How are you going to get your finances sorted if you keep thinking that everything is a struggle and that you're always going to be broke? I think a lot of us, because of the way we grew up, we've grown to think very small when it comes to money, when in fact we should be thinking big and aiming high. So the first step to turn this around would be to be aware of the limiting beliefs that we have about money and to be aware of our relationship with money. And try to figure out, where does this come from? Where does this thinking and these beliefs come from? But most importantly, try to unlearn these beliefs and replace them with different beliefs that actually promote a healthy relationship, a positive relationship with money. To a relationship where you feel that money is abundant and that it is a good thing. So this is the first step you need to take in order to get out of the whatever financial mess you are in. So number 2 is only being focused on how to spend less and not how to grow. And I think a lot of us do this. We get focused on, how can I save here and there in order to have more money, instead of focusing, how can I increase my income? And yes, it is important to spend mindfully. And in order to have more money, you do need to spend less. And we're going to talk about that later, how exactly you can spend less. But spending less is only going to get you so far. But to improve your financial situation and to have more money, you need to be looking at opportunities of growth where you can increase your income. This might include starting a new business, investing, or getting a raise at your current job, or changing jobs. It's always good to have more than one source of income so that you're not dependent on that one. If you have many, then if something happens to one, then you'll still be able to manage with the other ones going on. So if you're just spending less, then you still have only a certain amount of money that at your disposal. And this is again about thinking big instead of small. So think how to grow, not just how you can manage with whatever you have. So being focused on how to grow your money means to shift your focus from only spending less to finding new creative ways to make money, to finding solutions and opportunities everywhere you look. Because it is 2023 and there are so many creative, amazing opportunities to make money where you do not need to compromise on your values and ethics in order to do so. But you can actually do something that you enjoy doing while earning money. Number 3 is not understanding that money spent is your time wasted. So we all know the saying that time is money, but what does this actually mean? We're getting paid for our time, right? And often when we spend money, we don't realize how much of our time we had to put in to earn that amount of money that we're giving away so easily. So next time you want to buy something, you might want to stop and think and be like, okay, how many hours have I had to put in to earn this cash that I'm so easily about to give away? This is a powerful mindset shift that can make you appreciate your money more and stop you from spending mindlessly. And often we buy things that we actually don't need and we bring it home and it gathers dust and it clutters our homes and we need to spend time cleaning. It would be a lot wiser for us to stop and to think, do we really need it? And was it really worth our time that we put into earning that money? Number 4 is not shifting your perspective on what money can do. And I feel like it could help a lot of people to change their mindset about money to a positive one. And what do I mean by shifting your perspective? Well, a lot of people, when they think about getting rich, they think about, okay, I'm going to buy a house, I'm going to buy a car, I'm going to travel the world, I'm going to buy all my luxury items, and I'm just going to live large. And that's why they want to have money. And that's what they associate with having a lot of money. And this kind of a lifestyle is often promoted on social media, on YouTube, on the internet. But what I feel like is less talked about is the good things that you can do with money, not for yourself, but for others. Because having money doesn't mean that we need to want to have a luxury lifestyle. It doesn't need to be like, okay, do I buy this luxury bag or do I invest my money? That doesn't need to be the two options. There can also be an option of, do I buy this luxury bag or do I help someone in need? So even myself, I used to think that rich people are greedy and people are just using money for themselves, and I can work for a cause and I can make a difference in the world by not spending a lot of money, by not having a lot of money. Obviously, we can make a difference in so many ways without having money, but money does really help. So to change your perspective with money, you can do what I do, is to have something that's close to your heart, some cause, something that matters to you, and just visualize how many good things you can do when you have money. So just keep in mind all the amazing things that you can do with money that are positive, for the right reasons, that align with your values. So now we covered what I feel is the 4 most important mindset shifts that we need to make to go from having poor money habits to having good money habits. And now we're going to look at the actual concrete action steps that we can take in order to change our situation and go from feeling stuck to being abundant and financially free. So number 5 poor money habit that you may have is not having an emergency fund. So when something unexpected happens in life and we need to spend a lot of money, a lot of us are caught totally off guard and we don't have the money saved up. And then we might even end up going into debt, taking loans just to cover for this sudden expense that we didn't expect. And going into debt can obviously cause a very bad cycle that can put us really in a bad situation. So for those of you who don't know what an emergency fund is, it's an amount that you keep safely aside for yourself that you don't touch no matter what, unless it is an emergency. When you don't have an income, whenever something really unexpected happens and you have huge expenses, then you can touch it. And an emergency fund would usually cover for your expenses for about 3 to 6 months in case you don't have an income at all. There's no rule on how fast or how much to save, but I would recommend you to start as soon as possible. Whatever it is possible for you to save per month, do it. Not only will it give you so much peace of mind when you know that you have an amount saved up in case something happens and you can just be at peace, but also it can save you from a really big disaster in life when something unexpected, some situation comes up, which usually does happen in life, and you're totally unprepared. And you don't need to have a specific reason for your emergency fund, but just make sure that you can access it whenever you need and don't touch it unless you really need to. So number 6, bad money habit is not tracking your spending. So this one has been a real game changer for me. When I used to tell people that I track my expenses, I used to get responses like, oh, I don't want to know where my money is going. That's too much work. I don't want to do that. And I think that the people who say this, that they don't want to know where their money is going, are actually the ones who are afraid to face facts and they don't want to know because they know that they are not spending their money in the right way and they don't have control of their finances. So they are the people who actually need to do this the most. So, why track our spendings? Well, a lot of us feel that we don't have control over our lives because we don't have financial control over our lives, because we spend and we don't really, at the end of the month, know where did our money actually go. And sometimes we think we somehow know where our money is going. But trust me, if you track your spendings for 1 month, at the end of the month, you are going to be surprised to where your money is actually going and how much the small amounts here and there accumulate to. And you might be spending on things that you actually didn't want to be spending so much on. And once you start tracking your expenses, then it allows you to see that, okay, I'm spending quite a lot of money on ordering food home, or I'm spending a lot of money eating out, or buying clothes, or doing something that I might not want to be spending so much time on. So then it allows you to think, okay, I don't want to be doing this. So how can I change it? What goals do I need to set in order to next month not spend that much on these categories? And just knowing that you track your expenses can also stop you from spending mindlessly, because you know you're accountable to yourself and you need to get back to it later. So you can track your expenses on an Excel sheet, in your notebook, wherever you want, on an app. Personally, I use an app called Money Manager. I'm going to link it in the description if you're interested in it. I chose it based on how it looks, how simple and like pretty it looks, because that's important to me, so that I'm actually going to use it and it doesn't feel messy. And I have categories like groceries, ordering in, eating out, clothes, cleaning stuff, house expenses, my baby's medicines. I have a lot of categories actually, and I sit down every Sunday to note my expenses for the past week. Some people like to do it every day. I prefer to do it at the end of the week. And at the end of the month, when I look at my spendings, it's so helpful to be able to know exactly where I spent my money. And I get these ready-made pie charts where I can see that, okay, I've spent way too much money, let's say, on eating food, like ordering in or eating out instead of cooking myself. And then I can like make a conscious choice that, okay, I want to reduce this. And like I said, if you're afraid of tracking your money, then you really need to do it, because you have then definitely improvements to make. And that's why you are afraid. Face your fears. And I'm telling you, you're going to feel so much more in control of your life when you're in control of your finances. Every time you track your expenses, you become faster at doing it. And every month, you become more conscious about the way you spend your money, which allows you to improve the way you spend your money and actually spend on what you feel is important and what you value. So, number 7 is taking debt, taking loans, and paying interest where you actually didn't need to. So a really good rule that you can have for yourself is that if you can't afford to buy something outright with cash, then you can't afford it. Of course, sometimes we need to borrow money, for example, for studies abroad or to buy a home or whatever it is. Some big purchases where we just need to borrow money, but as far as possible, try to avoid borrowing money, especially if it's something that you can avoid buying altogether. And if you have to pay interest on something, do your research and make sure that you are not paying more than you should. There can be huge differences, and they don't always show you and explain to you how much you actually end up paying in the end. So taking out loans can put you in a really bad financial situation if you're not able to pay them back. So if you do take a loan, make sure that you actually are able to repay on time. And not paying back your loan can also result you in getting blacklisted and having a lower credit score. And if you have a credit card, do try to pay off the bill immediately when you get it instead of letting the interest grow, because then you are just wasting your money. I've seen so many people around me go into crazy debt because they just keep taking loans after loans and getting stuck with the interest and not being able to pay back. So to avoid this poor money habit, try to avoid taking loans and debt at any cost unless it really is that you calculated that it is actually beneficial for you to do so. But avoid especially those where you have high interest rates and where you feel that you might not be able to pay back on time. avoid it at any cost to stay financially stable and secure. And bad money habit number 8 is to pay yourself last. Now, you might have heard this before. So this means that when you get paid, you pay your rent, your phone bill, your whatever expenses that you have, you pay all the invoices. And then finally, if there's something left at the end of the month after all what you've spent on yourself, you will put something aside for savings. That is the wrong way to go about it. And by doing this, you're going to end up saving very little money. If you have any goals of saving, pay yourself first, meaning that when you get paid every month, when you get money coming in, first put aside a certain amount, whatever you've decided that is and that you're able to save, put it aside in your savings account or wherever you keep your savings. And then you make all your other payments and you keep something for you to spend that month. That is a way to actually be able to save and to reach your savings goals. You don't need to have a goal, but that can help you in staying motivated, that you have something in mind, like going on a holiday, buying a house, or whatever it is. But do try to consistently put aside a certain amount and you will see that it keeps growing. So turn it around to paying yourself first instead of last and watch your savings start to grow. So number 9 bad money habit is impulse buying and ongoing payments. So this means when you buy something that you just decided suddenly that you want and you didn't really think about it and you're not even sure if you need it or you want it, but you just decided to get it. Or you sign up for something that has a monthly payment, but you're not actually even using it every month. And what you can do is just to sit down and make a list of all the subscriptions that you are paying for monthly and see, are you actually using all of these? Or could you maybe rotate them instead of having all of them on at the same time? Because if you look at it per year, you're spending a lot on your subscriptions when you count it all together. And what you can do about impulse buying is just to stop and think, do I really need this? If I take it home, will it actually have a place in my home? What use will it be to me? What value will it bring me? And take a few days, sleep on it. And for impulse buying, what I do is that I sometimes stop when I'm about to buy something and I think, with this amount that I want to buy this thing with, what could I instead use the money on? How many street dogs, for example, could I help with the same amount? That helps me to put things in perspective. So that's it. Those were the 9 money habits that are keeping you poor and stuck in life. To recap, they were number 1, having limiting or negative beliefs about money. Number 2, only focusing on spending less instead of growing your money. Number 3, not understanding that money spent is your time wasted. Number 4, not shifting your perspective of what money can do. Number 5, not having an emergency fund. Number 6, not tracking your spendings. And number 7, taking loans and debt that you can't repay. Number 8, paying yourself last. And number 9, impulse buying and ongoing payments. So I hope you enjoyed the video. And if you did, do give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye.